Hello, everyone. We are live. This is Good Night, everybody. And if you're looking for something else, sorry, stay here anyway because we need the viewers. I'm your host, as always, Christopher Lawrence. But not as always. We don't have Stephen Garone, my trusty sidekick. His wife is not feeling well, and he has 7 kids. So prayers for her to get better, for everything to go well. But we do have maybe even better. Well, I don't know. I shouldn't say that. But yeah, maybe better. We have the great in a dual role tonight, Tony Manfredonia, not only as our band leader and music director, but as the guest, because we have a lot to talk about with Tony. Tony, am I too loud or too anything?
No, you're good. You're good, man. You sounded good on my end.
Okay, great. Tony, welcome, and thank
Thank
you
you.
for filling dual. Well, you know what? You're filling 3 roles tonight because you're now de facto default sidekick for the evening.
Perfect.
And I like to think of you as our Paul Schaefer anyway on the show here. So you kind of feel that, because you're funny, you're talented, you're there, you're quick with a comment, with a
Well,
retort, with a little bit of with a quick little ditty that we find so enjoyable here about whatever silly things Steve and I are doing. So I appreciate. I'm sure Steven does too, but we appreciate what you do, Tony, and. Why someone as talented as you is on this show is beyond me, but I don't want to press that point, so we're going to just go with it.
We can talk about that too if you want. I mean,
I think that will not work out well for me, because if you start thinking too hard about it, you'll say to yourself, "Yeah, why am I doing this?" I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But while you are here, we appreciate it.
Yeah, of course.
So how has your? Well, I know how your week has been. Good grief!
Oh my goodness, man. Yeah.
You were in the ice storm.
We were in the ice storm.
So I don't want you to give away your address. Can you give us a rough idea of where? Just give your address.
Yeah. My address is this exact. No, I'm in northern Michigan, right? So you have for those who don't know, you have Michigan. Here's the mitten. So you have the lower peninsula, and then you also have this is gonna be terrible. This is terrible. You also have the upper peninsula. So I am right below. I'm on the northern lower peninsula. So I'm technically northern Michigan. Which is where the ice storm was. Yeah.
Now, what happened from your point of view? So did this occur? Did you wake up and everything was just iced? Did you see this? Like, how quickly did it happen, Tony?
It happened pretty quick. They were like, oh, it's freezing rain. Right. And so I grew up in Philly. So I moved here 10 years ago. I grew up in Philly. And so when you hear freezing rain, it's like, okay, yeah, the roads are going to be slick in the morning. Big deal. Right. Drive slow. But this was like, no, there's a chance of power outages. That's all they said. Like all the weather apps. Oh, there's a chance of power outages. But there was so much freezing rain for so long. Like it was the kind of thing you're driving around, the ice and the rain was coming down, and it was like the thermostat said 32. Like it was just the perfect storm, literally, of like temperature and precipitation for like 2 days straight. Just 2 days straight of just freezing rain. Freezing rain.
Just solid. No stop.
No stop. And it was, I kid you not, like I forget the exact measurements, but it was at least a half an inch initially of ice just coating everything. And it might have even been an inch. I don't remember the exact measurements, but everything that was like my microphone or like this microphone stand, like cylindrical, trees, power lines, everything was coated with this just thick, heavy ice. So what ended up happening was things just started coming down. Like trees were coming down, power lines are coming down the street. There's still 5 in a row power lines that have to be put up. And God bless there are 2 people attached to those power line poles, so they're still waiting for power. They're literally like, I could walk there. They're right down the road.
They're close, yeah.
My grandmother-in-law, so my mother-in-law's mom, just got power back today, and so the storm was March 30th, 31st, I think, or maybe April 1st.
So you were 10 days.
We were 10 days. Our power came back on Monday night, late Monday night. Yeah.
Now, what were you doing? Because you initially did not have a generator, right?
Correct.
You borrowed one later. So how many days were you without even a generator?
2, 3.
Good grief!
Yeah,
so
it was rough.
What were you doing? How were you? Okay, so we're in the modern era. The
We are the
first
monitor.
question is going to be, how did you keep your phone charged? So how did you keep it? Because you were putting out videos, you were up, and thank God, because we were getting updates.
Yeah.
Tony's not frozen in a snowbank somewhere. He's being creative
Yeah, we're
still, and thank God.
gosh, frozen inside the house. We so with USB charger on the phone, right? So
Mm.
or in the car, so you can plug it into the car.
Car, of
Yeah.
course.
So we okay. So let me tell you the story.
Okay.
My wife and I, frankly, my wife and I were playing video games. We were playing a video game, and we were like, like the power was flickering. It's like, okay, it's no big deal.
Mm.
We'll be fine. That's what I was saying. I was like, we get this all the time. We'll be
Well,
okay.
that'll corrupt your save file is what it'll do.
Yeah, right. Oh, I know, it's terrible. And then basically that night it went out, middle of the night, it just went out. And
Okay.
so my wife, Maria, her name is Maria, she has put in months of work to get this beautiful fish tank going. And
I
fish
saw
tanks,
that in one of the
yeah,
pictures.
she it's all her. She's like, she's working, she's paying for it. This is like her, like it's like a little thing. She likes to just work on this fish tank. And it's not just like, okay, you get a tank, you pour some water and you put some fish in. You have to like make sure all the live bacteria, it's this perfectly operating thing.
Yeah, I've
And
seen that
so
movie.
Finding Nemo?
No, the one where Rob Schneider
I don't
he
know what you're
explains
talking
everything
about.
about being a fish tank guy. Oh, what is that movie? It's pretty funny. I don't
So
recommend it. The language warning, I think.
Okay.
You never saw that? It's
I
like
never
it's not
saw it.
one of
No.
the Deuce Bigelow. It was like the follow up to the Deuce Bigelow movies. That's what
Okay.
he did right
Okay,
after.
cool.
Oh man, maybe it was Deuce Bigelow.
Maybe
It
it
was
was.
Deuce Bigelow. That's right.
Maybe
He
it
was
was.
initially a fish tank expert
Yeah.
in the Deuce Bigelow, and then he works at now. I remember he goes to this big house. Somebody needs help, and it's like this gigolo guy.
Okay.
I don't recommend being a gigolo. I'm not endorsing. This is not an endorsement for gigoloism, but or a man whore we would call him. But he goes to the guy, and it turns out it's this gigolo guy, and he fixes his fish tank, and then something happens to the guy. He's got to like go out of town or something, and he's like, "Oh no, you take over to be gigolo for me." And so Rob Schneider like goes on these dates with all these crazy women.
Okay.
But initially, he's a fish tank, and he's talking about like, "No, you can't put this in, and the pH has got to be like this."
Yeah,
and he's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
"Yeah, okay." So continue. I'm sorry. That was
it's basically like any Reddit hobby in a nutshell is essentially fish tank. You know, like
okay.
like people who are like water aficionados, they're like, well, I like my water in the tap to be exactly this when I drink. You know, Reddit like that. You know, so these fish that she has are like the temperature has to be like exactly.
What are they?
They are. She calls them cories. I want to say the full length is a Corydoras. Corydoras, however you say it. Cories, they call them. But they're like, I'm not making it up, I swear. Like they
corridors.
Corridors. And
you're messing with me.
No. And so anyway, the first thing that came to mind was like, all right, we got to keep the fish alive. Like that was, she put in so much effort to get this thing going. So I'm like, all right, what am I going to do? So I fly to like the local Meijer. So here in Michigan, we have Meijer. It's like Walmart, but better. Sorry, Walmart. But
anything's better than Walmart.
And I was like, I gotta find something. So I go and buy like a little grill to like using propane. And then I come home and I realize, well, I got a whole grill in my garage to like cook meat on. So I don't know what I was thinking. But I started boiling water to then we decided to put in the idea of putting water inside a bunch of plastic bags to almost like a hot water bottle to keep the water warm.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So it ended up working. The fish are all still alive. They managed
that's
to
excellent.
just fine. Yeah, it was
Very
amazing.
good.
But it was a job like all day. It was just like we're keeping the fish alive. We got a little kind of a buddy heater with a propane tank, which you're not supposed to put inside, but we did because it was cold. So we heated our living room. We were sitting in front of that for a few days. And then when my mother-in-law's power was still out, we were flip-flopping every 12 hours generator. So I would deliver it, they would deliver it here, and we would just heat our houses and then give the other person the generator back and forth until they got power back about 5 or 6 days in.
And they got it back way before you. Okay.
Yeah, so then we had like 4 days of just, we had the generator on our end, which made things a lot easier.
Well, of course.
Oof, yeah. It was intense, man. It was.
Well, I'll tell you something about these propane heaters. We had them when I was young, because when I was growing up on Long Island, we would get big snowstorms, like a lot. Yeah. Like I remember being able to dig as a little kid, dig out of the front door.
Yeah.
Like it was high enough that I could make a tunnel.
That's awesome.
And in one instance, we had an ice storm like this. Now, I don't think it was as bad as what you went through, because we didn't lose well, we must have lost power. This is a fairly famous ice storm. It's not the one they made the movie about, but it was a big deal. And and I remember everything shutting down. Now on Long Island, it's not like here in Texas where a flake falls and people lose their minds. We're used to weather. We're used to snow. We're used to. So it takes a lot for them to be like everything, like banks, everything is just. But this ice, it was exactly like you described. It just coats everything, and a half an inch or whatever doesn't sound like a lot, but this stuff is heavy.
It's heavy, yeah.
And it gets on those lines and they come down. It slicks up the road, something awful. But it looks beautiful, right? Like I still have, Tony, to this day. Now this is, I mean, decades obviously ago, but I had a little Polaroid camera. No, it wasn't a Polaroid at that point. I had
like
just
one
of
those digital.
No, this was way before, Tony. I'm old. This is way. There's no digital. It was one of those little click, like a travel, like a disposable camera.
Yeah, okay, yeah, like the Kodak. The Kodak.
And and I still have the pictures I took as a little kid of all the trees just covered in.
It is beautiful. It is very beautiful. My wife put it succinctly on her Instagram. She does a photography Instagram. She's a photographer.
Oh,
and she was like,
I'll have to follow.
She called it. Yeah, I'll send it to you. She called it beautifully tragic, right? Where it's like this idea of everything is gorgeous, but I'll tell you, it was the weirdest thing, man. Downtown, we have a little downtown. I mean, it's not like it's not a city. It's like a little, like model town, like a little toy town. Essentially, we have.
Right.
And
I love those.
Yeah, it's nice, and it was weird, man. To like, you go downtown, and number one, there was zero light pollution, right? Zero, because everything was closed. There was one gas station open, so that was my task one day, was to go to the gas station 30 minutes from my house, where I was in line to get fuel. Like I've never experienced anything like this, but it was beautiful how you could go anywhere downtown and a backyard, and you could see all the stars. You could see, it was wild, man, absolutely wild.
I love that. I love that.
Life changing, life altering. It was horrible. Like, it was terrible.
Right. But at the same time,
it made me appreciate running water. It made me appreciate toilets.
Yes.
It made me appreciate like our baseline existence here in America and like many countries is a luxury. Like that was my takeaway. Baseline existence of, the phones, the running water, heat, all of that. It is a luxury. It is a luxury. It's crazy.
It sure is.
My life has been changed since this whole fiasco.
I love that though. I thought, my wife and I, some years ago, we went to a part of Texas, it was rural, kind of like desert.
Yeah.
Very beautiful. And Tony, I thought that I had seen a starlit sky in my life.
Yeah.
But we went to, it was like the top of I don't know if it was technically a mountain. It might have just been a big hill.
Yeah.
And they had an observatory, and they had like a stargazing outside on the top of this hill. You just you lay on on a picnic blanket or whatever, looking up at the stars. I had never seen, because there's nothing around there. They turn any lights off in the observatory, and there's nothing else near it. It's just on its own, the side of this hill, and the stars were just it was like you could reach out and
Milky
touch
Way,
one.
Basically, right? You can essentially see, with the naked eye. Yeah,
it was amazing. It was so beautiful, and I've wanted to go back there since, or to live like that would be, just have a house in the middle of nowhere, and you can kill all the light pollution and noise pollution whenever you want, and have peace.
I mean, there's something to be said. I live a very unconventional life, and sometimes it's the worst thing in the world.
Is that right?
Well, I mean, yeah, kind of, because the industry
outside of the storm, even in other instances,
it's a pretty rural area where I live. Like, northern Michigan is not known to be like, there are no skyscrapers. I mean, it's relatively rural. I mean, it took 10 days for my power to be restored. I mean, that's rural enough. Oh, it's beautiful. I love it. I could never. I always have friends and colleagues in the music and game industry. They're like, "Oh, when are you moving to LA, or when are you moving to Seattle?" I'm like, never. I'm never going there. Because it's just, I love the pace of the Midwest. I love it all. It's great, but the disconnect is because I live in such a rural-ish area. Like, everyone I work with, everyone I know on the internet, all my friends, they're all in these big music game industry hubs, and it's like, sometimes I feel like such a black sheep, not in a bad way, but it's like, it's like I don't live to do the thing. I live to because it's a beautiful life and it's a wonderful thing to live here with my family and all of this stuff. It's like I
Well, that's
don't
the most
live for the
important.
work, you know? Oh yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the most important. It's good, and
So,
you know what? It's often good to be an outlier, especially these days. You know, when I was really doing acting and improv and stand up,
yeah. Yeah.
people I knew one by one falling off and moving out to the West Coast.
Yeah.
I went to California once. And I
Once.
knew there's no way on earth. I went to LA. I was like, this is where I need to be. I cannot do this. It was
Uh,
bad enough going into New York City. And this is when New York was all right.
yeah.
But there was no way I could have lived in LA or the surrounding. I hated its
Yeah.
guts. There's no, like, I couldn't do it. So
Yeah.
that put a real damper on any aspirations I had for, I still did like regional improv, and I still did theater, and
yeah.
I
Yeah.
still did stand up in small places, but and I will again when I'm going to be hitting the road with the family pretty
Nice.
soon here. I'm planning on finding open mics where I can, and
Yeah, good. Well, but
preferably in like really really liberal enclaves because I like annoying them. The biggest show I ever did I ever tell you this, Tony? I know I told Steve.
Probably not. Definitely
The
not.
biggest stand-up gig I ever did, I got through this guy I knew who was a complete hack. But it was for an Obama fundraiser for like the first time he was running for president.
Okay. Yeah.
Now I wasn't like real conservative back then. I was young. I was kind of, but even still, I did not like Obama whatsoever.
Yeah.
So I wrote a whole set about like,
oh no,
the imminent takeover of communism and all this stuff, and like the Chinese, and it was all these like affluent white upper Manhattan liberal people. You could have heard a pin drop. I was having the time of my life. They hated my guts. Like, they hated my guts so much. They could not wait for me to. If they could have dragged me off the stage of the Hook, like the Gong Show, they would have done it. But they couldn't. They let me finish, and then like it was dead silence. It was great.
Oh man, I don't know how you do that, dude.
And they paid me for that.
I don't know how you could sit through that. Like, there's something about that awkward silence that just kills me. It kills
so good.
me.
It was so good.
It's like one of my biggest fears as a musician is to like do something on stage and then like no one's response. It's like literally like one of the biggest.
I don't think you have to worry about that because you're very talented. But the thing, you know what, Tony, it's contextual too. I think maybe if it had been a crowd full of people that I really admired, I would have. But because these were all like people who were living existences that were completely antithetical to anything that I respected.
Was this an intentional move? Like, did you go into this knowing like I'm gonna specifically choose this event in this area with this demographic?
Well, this guy I knew offered me the gig.
Okay.
And my sense of irony refused to turn it down. I was like, this is too good, but I'm going to purposely write a set that leans into everything these people hate.
Yeah. Okay.
And so that's what I did.
Nice.
So I was like, I'm not going to get, well, okay. So career-wise, dumb, because I'm assuming there were people there that could have assisted me in my career in some way or another through connections or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's hard for me to think like that as much as I should. I just wanted to have fun and annoy these people, and that succeeded. I mean, you should have seen their faces. It was like they did not know it was
probably gold.
They were I could tell they were so confused. Like, how did this guy get here? Like, I'm sure it got the guy that hooked me up in big trouble, but he should not.
Did he ever contact you again?
No, which was great because he was annoying. And he owned the top half of the building that the restaurant I was working in was housed in.
Yeah.
But luckily he didn't own the restaurant because I'm sure he would have fired me.
Yeah.
But he owned the upstairs and he lived up there. There's like apartments over
okay.
This like historic building on Long Island. And the downstairs was a historic restaurant that I worked at. I'm not gonna give any names right now. And the upstairs he owned like
what's the address?
It's right on Main Street in Riverhead.
Yeah.
Actually, no, it's called Tweeds. It's a good restaurant. And right on Main Street in Riverhead, you can look it up. And it was a hotel. It was called the John J. Sullivan Hotel. It's a historic building. J.
Sullivan.
Yeah.
John Jacob
and,
Jigelheimer Smith.
And that was his cousin.
It was his restaurant?
It was his cousin.
It was his cousin.
He was from Jersey.
Yeah.
But it's called Tweed's Buffalo Bar.
Okay.
And it used to be the frequent spot for members of Tammany Hall. This is all old. This is not that interesting.
Yeah.
What I wanted to tell you about was, because you reminded me about the propane heaters.
Okay. All right.
When I was little, we had
heaters.
What's that?
I forgot we were talking about the propane heaters.
Yeah, well, I think I rambled on a bit.
That's okay.
The rambles are good. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
I tend to do that, but
me too.
We have plenty of time. Yeah. But we don't have Steven here bothering us, so we can. Oh, I did mention Steven.
Steven is needed. We don't have the pistachios distracting us from the.
I don't have the crunching in my ear. He usually Steven's great. I don't want. I love Steven. I don't want people to get the wrong idea. We have fun with Steven, but
he's fun.
He's really excellent at what he does. He's been a great asset to the show.
Yeah, big time.
Pray that his wife gets better and that he's doing okay with the 7 kids. He's got 7 kids.
That's a lot. So, that's a lot of kids.
Yeah. God bless him.
Yeah.
When I was young, we had propane heaters. These 2 big white. I think you could still get essentially the same thing,
probably
like the Home Depot, but they look like R2D2 basically.
Yeah.
And made out of metal. And we had them in the garage because it would get super cold in the winter, and there are pipes that run over the garage, right?
Yeah.
So you don't want these water pipes to burst. So when it would get to these subarctic temperatures, we'd put in the 2 propane heaters and just let them in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
To keep it warm. Well, one day I was very young. I remember this. It was the middle of the afternoon. My parents were out. So I was old enough to have been home with just my grandmother.
Yeah.
It must have been 80. I mean, 75 if she was a day at this point. She had my mom a little older. And I opened the garage door from the inside to go ride my bike. Well, no, there was 2 feet of snow on the ground. I was getting something. So I opened it, and I just see what looked to me like billowing smoke in the garage.
Yeah.
So I run inside, I start yelling, Nanny. My grandma, no, Nanny,
Yeah.
Fire, because I'm thinking this is a fire in the garage.
Yeah. Yeah.
So she comes walking out. What is it? There's fire. The garage is on fire. We got to go. So she comes down. I wait for her to come down. I grab the dog. I have socks on. She has her house slippers on. We're running out in 2 feet of snow. I say, stand here, in a little shoveled part of the driveway that had been shoveled because she's got little house slippers on. I run through the 2 feet of snow to our neighbor's house, ringing the doorbell, help,
Yeah.
And the next door neighbor's wife opens the door. What's wrong? Fire. There's a fire in the garage. Luckily, it was her and not her husband who was on coke. This is another story. I've lived around some interesting.
That's for the night. That's for next week.
He owned the funny thing about that is he owned a candy store, but he liked the other kind of candy, you know what I mean? The little nose candy.
So it was like a candy store.
It was but he had a real candy store. No, I don't know if this was a front.
Okay.
But he was definitely a big time cokehead.
Okay.
But anyway, there's neither here nor there in regards to this.
What was that candy store called? What street was that?
I wish I could remember. I would tell you right now.
We can go down the mafia rabbit hole and see what we find.
No, this guy was a Jew.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So not the mafia.
I was flanked by Jews in this neighborhood. One on one side and the ones on the other side were okay.
Yeah, that's not bad.
But this guy, it had nothing to do with him being Jewish. There's plenty of Jews that aren't cokeheads. He just happened to be both. In fact, there was a weird Italian family down the road. Weirdness knows no ethnic preference, Tony.
That's true. It's
this neighborhood was full of, I think it was on a Hellmouth.
Okay.
Because everybody was crazy in this neighborhood. Okay. In fact, we were a little crazy when we were there.
Yeah, maybe you were the crazy one, man. Maybe you
and
everyone else was. Maybe you were part of the club.
I wonder whether we brought it because
maybe
we moved there when I was 7.
It's like a virus.
From another neighborhood that seemed a little crazy.
Okay.
And you know what they say? If you walk around meeting dum-dums all day, maybe you're the dum-dum. Except they don't say dum-dum. They say a word I'm not going to say.
Yeah.
What was I telling you? Oh, yeah. So the cokehead's wife, who she had other problems. She used to like to, it doesn't matter. So she calls the fire department, right? And my grandmother and I are shivering outside with the dog.
Yeah.
For the 10 minutes or whatever it takes. And here they come, and they pull up. So they open the garage from the outside and they go in there with their hoses Well, what happened was, I'll try to make this story a little shorter than I have. There was no fire.
Oh,
What
just
turns
steam.
out, it was steam. One of the pipes had burst, and it just
Oh.
happened to be hitting the propane
Oh,
heater,
yeah, just create okay. Yeah, yeah,
and it
yeah.
just made. But I open the door, I see what looks like smoke. I'm slamming that door,
Yeah.
and it was a metal door, luckily. So I thought, okay, it'll be fine. The fire is contained as much as possible in there.
Yeah, you would have
I don't
known
want
if
to
it
feed
was
it oxygen, you know.
Yeah.
But I'm worried about my bike and my rollerblades or whatever.
Everything but your
Well,
grill.
anyway, that's what happened. That's my propane tank story.
Yeah.
It's not as interesting as the cokehead next door and the crazy people down the road story. This neighborhood was wild. I could tell you some, and I will. Maybe I will next time.
Next time.
But there was some. Oh man, this is where I grew up from. Well, only a handful of years, so it's not really where I grew up. But we got out of there once we could move to a nicer.
Yeah.
Because where I grew up
That
before,
was
that was very nice.
Yeah, that was my college experience. Where I went to college in Philadelphia University was literally right like on the border of like one of the worst neighborhoods of Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
It was literally like so of course my mom was like terrified the whole 4 years I was there.
Oh
Like she was
yeah.
just like not sleeping for 4 years straight. I don't know
Wait,
when she
Tony,
slept.
you got him one little fight, and your mom got scared,
Exactly.
and she tried to send you to move with your auntie and uncle to Bel Air.
Yeah. So it wasn't West Philadelphia, but it was North Philadelphia.
Oh, okay.
So,
This is
close
different. I'm
enough.
confusing this with
Close
something
enough.
else.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But
I race swapped you.
yeah. Dude, that neighborhood. It was it was pretty terrifying actually. It was kind of like every street corner there were these big blue like cop poles that you would like there's a big button that you would like slam on if you needed like help. Like if you're
Oh my
running from
goodness.
someone, like if there was someone coming after you with a knife or whatever, like there were these big buttons you could just like
What's that supposed to do? Is it like shoot a net at them?
No, I think it just calls the cops, but I don't know how quickly they get there. But it's
I
like
can't when someone's chasing you with a knife.
every corner had these big like like Temple University cop. My goodness, yeah, what a time! What a time! So I know my mom was definitely concerned while I was there.
Well, I don't blame her. Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty.
Now this was music school.
This was music school. Yeah, Temple's music program is actually really good. It's just a shame.
I've heard that.
The surrounding area is just not very good.
No.
To say the least.
With
I was never chased with knives and having to press the button. That never
Oh, you
happened.
weren't. So you have not tested one of these buttons.
I've not tested one of the buttons, but
Because I would imagine, ideally, if you press one, and then a trap door opens,
yeah,
and the perpetrator just falls right in.
exactly. It's like everything around there was just a cartoon, right? So like there'd just be like just rubber chickens.
That would have been better.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
Oh, a big giant hand,
iron,
right?
Yeah, big hand or an iron pan. That would you'd have your weaponry.
They did that
like
on Jackass.
And...
You're too young for Jackass.
I mean,
but there was this show called Jackass.
They made a movie, didn't they? There was a movie.
Can we say Jackass? Can we say that?
Well,
it's like a donkey. A Jackass is a donkey.
This is your show. This is your rules. So
yeah, but I don't know what I'm doing. But there was a show, Tony, called when you were very little. You were probably in diapers. There was a show called Jackass.
Probably.
They made several movies. I do not recommend. This is not an endorsement for Jackass.
So this is the second movie without an endorsement. Good.
Yeah.
Maybe
or the show. Although if you have to watch something out of the Jackass oeuvre, do the show, because at least they can't do certain things on the show that they did in the movies. But some of the bits were funny. And one of them was they rigged up this giant, it looked like Mickey Mouse's, well, I can't say Mickey Mouse. They rigged up what looked like, well, he's public domain now. Well, that's just the Steamboat Willie one.
Yeah.
That's just Steamboat Willie.
Oh.
They rigged up what looked like a giant one of his gloves.
Like his gloves? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like a big white, this is what I remember anyway. But enormous. Like 4 feet across by 3 feet. Yeah. And they put it on this lever behind a door. I don't mean to laugh. It's so stupid. And whenever it was like in their offices, so it was just them coming in and out. Whenever someone would open the door, the hand would swing on the lever arm, smack him and knock him over.
Oh my goodness!
Like hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why it's funny though, because it is stupid. I mean, stupid.
Yeah, it was all stupid.
It's all slapstick. Yeah, yeah. There's a guy on Instagram I came across. He, I don't know why he does this. You know, like the scooters that has 2 wheels. It's like made of metal. You stand on it. It's very.
It's a bicycle.
No.
You're describing a bicycle.
No, the ones the ones that you stand on. They're very small, maybe about this big.
Oh,
like a
those
little
are
metal platform.
razor scooters.
Yeah, the razor scooters. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
There's a guy on Instagram. His entire profile. Gosh, his poor shins must have been through like 8 surgeries by now. But what he does is he rigs up those scooters, the metal razor scooters, to
Yeah.
things like, I don't know, like a carousel or like, you know, those spinny
What?
things in the playground. And what he'll
Yeah, yeah,
do is
yeah.
he'll rig them up and he'll spin the thing, and then he'll purposefully put his legs in front of it to like basically he's trying to see how many different ways you can get your shins to be hit by the razor scooters. It makes
Why? Why is he doing this? Why? You have to
it-
send me this. We got to get
I
him on the
will.
show
I'm
because
gonna.
I want to ask him why he's doing this.
Well, I guess there's a stereotype with those razor scooters in that, like if you'd be doing tricks or something and then it hit your shins like as a kid, and
Yeah.
it's like stepping on Legos. You know, it's just like that kind of identifiable
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
pain. But the fact that he does it to himself for Instagram is
For
I
all
agree.
accounts. What? Tony, please send me this. I'm begging you. When we're off air,
We'll
you
get
have
him
to
on the
send me
show.
I really want to.
We'll
I
get him on
mean,
the show.
does he have a lot of followers? He won't come on.
He must have a ton by now. I haven't.
Although
seen him
we
in a while.
have some big, we have had. You missed it. We had Van Man last week. Are you familiar
He's the
with
yo-yo
Van Man?
guy, right? No,
No,
not
that's
the yo-yo
Brian.
guy.
You know Brian, don't you?
I know Brian. Yeah. Okay. All right.
That's Brian. Brian is a doctor.
But a yo-yo
No,
guy. Too.
he's the this kind of doctor, not the this kind of doctor.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
Let me
He's
stick
like
that in you.
Does he have a?
Doesn't
Did he
sound-
get his PhD in yo-yo
I think he did.
from
But had a minor in I think theology, actually.
theology? So I wonder who offers yo-yo as a major to get your doctorate. What would that?
Well, it's
What would
clown
that-
college.
Harvard.
He went to
Yale.
he went to Southern Baptist Clown College because he had he was a Baptist
Okay.
and he got his minor in theology.
Nice.
Although the problem with the Baptists is sometimes those things they confuse them. So you get clown theology and then you get academic yo-yo. I've met some of them. That's not nice. It's not nice, Tony.
Don't blame me.
Not nice.
I said he went to. I said he went to.
You
Yale.
let me
That's
do
the
it.
Real, that's the real clown college is Yale.
But that's
Harvard.
Dr. Brian Duncan, friend of the show.
Okay.
Well, the reason I mentioned he's a doctor is usually I'm like, doctor. Brian's a highly intelligent guy. Now he does not seem to like to coast on that information, so he doesn't play it up. But I've seen him do some other interviews. Highly intelligent, definitely knows his stuff. He's also a black belt in jiu-jitsu. He's got a mixed martial arts gym.
Wow.
He's a renaissance man. Yeah, I like Brian. No, this was last week. We had Van Man.
Okay.
Van
Does he
Man.
live in a van? Is he like a van? He's
He
one of those
did
van
live in a
guys?
van. He was a big. He was in. I think he was involved in like finance
Okay.
early in his career and did very well. And then decided, I hate this. I hate this with all my guts. This finance sucking the soul out of me. I don't like it.
Yeah.
And he gave it all up. And he lived in a van for I think a year or two.
Wow.
And he started learning about he was already into health. Oh, someone has commented. I have a notification. Someone has commented. Oh, this is our friend Chris Lewis live on a Thursday. What is going on here, Chris? We changed the time of the show. Now, Chris Lewis is a very talented artist. You know Chris Lewis, very talented artist. He's been on the show. He will be on the show again. We're doing an artist roundtable on May 15th with him and several other. And Chris Lewis proclaimed himself a big fan of the show, and yet did not know that we moved the show, Chris, to Thursdays.
Wait,
So that we
today's
can more
Monday?
frequently have the very talented Tony Manfredonia. Here he is on the show. So that's why we're live on a Thursday. Thanks for joining.
I was
It's
trying
really
not
fun.
to make sure the show shifted just for my sake, but Chris is.
It was mostly for you, but I was happy to do it. I think it's better. It's better because you know what? I can still.
It's not 10 p.m. when I'm starting on a Monday night.
Yeah, exactly. And and it's like when I get finished with the show, I can still go and play with my daughter. She's not sleeping already, and I like that. We just got a bunch of fun new card games we've been playing, the family together. Yeah. So what was I? Oh, Van Man. Okay.
Van Man. So he was living in a van, learning about. You said he was learning about, and then
he was living in a van down by the river.
He was.
Here's you. Here's Matt. Here's me. Here's Matt.
I'm sad to say I don't know the reference, but maybe the audience does.
Maybe the audience. What audience?
Chris.
This is Matt Foley, motivational speaker by the great Chris Farley. Oh, good. So Chris says he likes this dance. Yeah, me too.
Me too.
Me too, Chris. And that's an amazing Farley. That was half-assing it. You should see my committed Farley. We have done so far on the show here, I have done Michael Caine, not this show, in general, the show. Oh, I forgot to take that away. Thank you, Chris. What happened?
Well, it'll be there now for the rest of the show. That's fine.
I have not been pressing the buttons in a long time. Steven's been doing it. See, this is why we need Steven. This is one of the reasons we need Steven. We also need his
cupcakes.
Whatever else he does. No, his repartee. Is that the word? So, what was I saying? After Van Man. Oh, my impressions. Okay. I promised Tony I will let you talk again. We have plenty of time. We have all the time in the world.
We have so much time.
I've done Michael Caine. Steven and I have concurrently done who did we do last week? Walken. We did Chris Walken.
We did, yeah. I saw that one.
I think you were there. Okay.
Yeah.
I've now done a non-committal Farley, which is good. I don't know who else, but impressions will pop up on the show.
One day, once you get the sense of can you promise me you'll do an impression of me one day?
Of you?
Once you know exactly.
No.
Please, I'm begging you. I would love. No one's ever done an impression of me, and I would love to see it one day. It'd be amazing. Like a year from now. How about like a year from now? Just spring it on me and be like.
Okay, you'll forget. I'll make what that's going to entail is I'm going to go full out.
Perfect.
So it's going to be the tie. I'm going to have to do a virtual background of your room.
Please do. That'd be amazing.
I'm going to have to get. Well, I'm going to need at least a year because I'm going to have to get shredded like you.
I was just at the gym this morning. It was a good one today.
Yeah. Now I work out every day.
Good for you, man.
I lift heavy.
Yes.
But I like the cheese.
Cheese is good. Cheese doesn't agree with me, but cheese is good.
Oh, see, I eat a lot of cheese.
I'm a sad Italian that cheese does not agree.
Oh, that's tough. But even a real Parmesan, you can't eat it because that's the sheep's milk.
Yeah, Parmesan and mozzarella are usually and goat cheese. Actually, goat cheese is pretty good.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
But as soon as I get into like if someone's making a pizza with like the cheddars and all, or not maybe not. Cheddar,
oh well, why are they doing that?
Not pizza and cheddar. What am I trying to say? Like sandwiches, whatever. Anything there's like cheddar or anything other than Parmesan, mozzarella, and goat cheese. It's like my Italian.
Have you tried? Maybe I don't know if you can get it there. Have you tried raw milk cheeses?
No.
They might be all right for you.
Something about raw milk scares me. Like raw.
Well, you've been brainwashed like everybody else. It's not your fault.
Okay.
But let me put it this way: Steven drinks 2 gallons of raw milk from his cow every day, and he's fine.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know if he drinks all 2 gallons, but he gets 2 gallons.
I was gonna say that's a lot of. Oh man.
My impression is that he drinks it.
My intestinal.
He washes down those pistachios with it.
Yeah.
He's doing something with 2 gallons of raw milk.
If he likes pistachios so much, he should like make. So we got almond milk.
Hey, Steven, you like pistachios so much. Why don't you marry him, hey?
They got almond milk. They have oat milk. They have.
Oh, that's terrible. Don't drink that stuff.
Hold on, but hear me out.
Oh, I know something else. Go ahead.
Hold on. What if Steven made a pistachio milk business? Because no one's doing it.
I think they are.
I've never seen it. If they are, okay. So my wife and I like coconut milk. We use coconut milk a lot because there's
that's different.
Yeah.
That's not one of those like faggy processed fake milks that aren't milks that they put all kinds of chemicals in. Yeah, no, coconut milk is good.
Coconut milk's good. Yeah, we avoid the soy. I avoid the estrogen.
It'll turn you gay. Yeah.
Yeah. My wife would not like that too much. So yeah, I avoid the soy.
Yeah.
I am not a soy boy. I am a coconut boy. Is that any better? That doesn't sound any better.
No. Yeah, that sounds better. Yeah,
coconut boy. I need like a palm tree in here and just.
You ever see those guys that climb the palm trees to get them?
Dude, it's crazy. Yeah, and they have the tool. They have tools for it. It's wild. Yeah, they're very talented.
Very talented.
So yeah, after all the seeing, like I think we have over 1,000 linemen right now in our area, utility poles. They like came in from like Quebec. Some people were even saying they don't even speak any. There's some that don't even speak English because they're like they only speak French, but they're all here. They're all here, and I see their work, and I'm like, man, that kind of sounds. I know it's like a dangerous job, but sometimes it sounds very enticing to like do that kind of thing and like help people like restore their power versus me sitting in front of a computer making like ditties all day, you know?
No, but that's Tony. That's important.
I know
Beauty
it's
is important,
important,
and we
but yeah.
need more of it. And you know what? We have an actual serious question here from Chris Lewis before we, and then this can help get us back on track,
I don't
maybe,
even know
and
where we're
divert
going.
us to actual. Well, we actually plan to talk
Oh,
about it. So Chris says, since AI has completely turned art upside down, and we're going to be talking about this in our Chris will be part of our artist roundtable on May
okay.
15th. What does Tony think about it as far as music? There are IG
Mm,
pages now, that stands for the Instagram for you kids, that recreate famous songs with different singers. Yeah, I've seen a little bit of this.
yeah,
Weird time. So Tony, that's a great question.
it
What
is a
what do
great
you think
question.
about that?
It is. All right. I'm going to try and just formulate my thoughts into something short and sweet. It is, I will say there's an element of it, like it's impressive. I'm like, man, this
Yeah.
is crazy. Very impressive. And then there's the other side of things. Speaking as someone who a good chunk of my income comes from making music for video games,
Right.
where a lot of those companies, they just want to shave costs where they can.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's just a reality. Any large company is going to want to do that, right? Like there's nothing wrong with that, but they're going to see where can we save costs, where can we put our costs, and AI, not only from a music standpoint, but I would say even from a graphical standpoint, a programming standpoint, so many different standpoints. They were all there. I don't know if this is why, but over the last year, there's already been so many layoffs in the game industry from programmers and artists and things just kind of going to the wayside. Part of me is thinking because of AI, right? So
Mm-hmm.
from a music standpoint, though, AI music, I feel like there's just an element of it that it's never going to. It's not quite hitting that level of like a human experience. There's
Yeah.
something obviously not human about it. Whether that's like the slight tempo fluctuations, whether that's the I don't know, the melody choices, it's just not quite there yet. Will it get there? Maybe. But I
Mm.
think for ads, AI, I feel like is going to be the first things to make music for ads like a Taco Bell commercial. That AI, eventually, I have no doubt in my mind. At some point, the people who are creating sort of the music for ads and commercials and stuff, I feel like that's just the first thing that AI is gonna do professionally,
Hmm.
commercially, in my opinion. Um, just because it's okay, you need 30 seconds of some beat for a YouTube ad. Why license a composer for $1,000 to make that when you can just do it on your own with AI?
And
You know what I'm
I
saying?
know they're already doing it too, because I've seen a lot of
Oh, for
ads
sure.
where there are songs that, because what they're doing, I think, is they're telling the AI, make a song that sounds kind of like this popular song, but different
Right.
enough that we're not going to
Yeah.
get sued or
Yeah.
have to pay royalties. Because maybe you have too. I keep hearing these songs in ads on mostly on YouTube, though we love ads on YouTube. But I'm like, this sounds almost familiar. This
Yeah.
almost sounds like a song I know,
Yeah.
but it's not. It's just different enough to give me that, because they're smart. They're
Yeah.
also targeting it towards whatever the age group is that the product is directed towards. Here's the nostalgic song it sounds like
Yeah.
from your generation or whatever it
Mm-hmm.
is, And yeah, I think you're right. We're going to just see more and more of that, and I hate its guts.
I
But
I don't I don't like it, and I I could there are a lot of composers in the game industry and musicians. They're like, I stand against AI, and it's like, okay, great, wonderful. Like I agree with you, but I feel like I want to put my energy toward like I've never been anyone who just goes out of the woodwork and is like, I disagree with this, I hate this,
mm,
down with the system. Like I'm never like that. But what I do think I've begun to do is as I've maybe over the last 3 years, just seems to actually coincide with the whole AI thing. Really, I was really focusing my efforts purely in the video game soundtrack world
right.
because it's like frankly there's a good paycheck with it. It's good.
Well, that's good to hear. Okay.
And it's fun. It's fun to do. But AI will never be able to, point blank, have people on stage live playing music for
Well,
people. I don't think so, at least.
Gorillas did it kind of.
Gorillas did like kind of.
But he
Kind
did
of.
play the music. He did play the music. It was him there with the other guys. That's true. So it is different.
It's different,
Yeah.
but I feel
Yeah.
like
You're
you're
right.
never gonna have like there's no support or reason. Okay, let me put it this way: if we're ever at a point where like let's say you're going to see an orchestra concert accompanying some rock star. If we're at the point where everything is just robots on stage, then I hope I'm dead at that point, because that sounds miserable. It sounds terrible. If the orchestra is just a robot AI, like, just playing the violin, like Disney World, animatronics,
Chuck E. Cheese. Yeah.
it's a small world after all, and they're just kind of like janking around. That I truly, I hope I'm not around at that point, because that really sounds like a terrible time to be in the music scene. Yeah.
Chris says Vegas was selling shows with Michael Jackson holograms years ago. I remember, and Tupac also.
What?
Oh, you never saw this?
I quit. I'm gonna be a lineman tomorrow.
I had forgotten about this. It was a legitimate, it was not legitimate, but it was a full live concert. Some of them were Michael Jackson hologram on the stage, and they did ones with Tupac and probably somebody else I don't remember either.
That's crazy.
So dead people. And then I'm assuming because the families get money.
Yeah.
Although I don't know, a lot of these record deals, they own your likeness and all this stuff. Just it was very unnerving. Before I stopped going to the movie theaters, when I realized everything was total garbage.
Yeah.
I remember in one of those new Star Wars, they put the Peter Cushing, who's been dead for forever. He just showed up on the screen. There he is, dead guy, because they made him out of computers.
Oh, right. I forgot about that. Yeah.
So what the hell is this?
Yeah.
What was Peter Cushing? Was that his name? I think that was his name.
I don't know. I'm terrible with names and actors' names.
Chris says, and now with AI, they can make those holograms completely original, so it can be a show nobody has seen before with the famous person. They do something kind of like that in Japan. They have those those girl characters that are famous, as they top the charts. They're not real. It's computer generated, and as far as I understand, they do concerts also.
So I feel like I'm pretty conservative in the music thing, where it's and that's why in fact, I'm preparing now in 2 months ish. I'll be doing a show with a wind ensemble, so brass and woodwinds and stuff, but piano and singing, because it's I feel there's just more of a need in the world for more just real people doing real things. So that's honestly why over the last few years I've really been I'm not removing the video game soundtracks, but I'm gravitating my work so it's a little bit more here's my soundtracks, here's me on a stage doing what we're doing tonight, this type of stuff, because it just feels human. It feels human.
Yeah.
And I need that. I feel like I need that human element.
Well, I think all people do, but they don't realize it anymore.
Correct.
Yeah. And everybody, as you said, it's easy to be negative and say, I'm against AI, I'm against this. But people stopped caring about and appreciating beauty. And this refers to the art world as well, although music is art, but I mean the visual arts. And so, of course, they're going to be more accepting of AI when it comes in, because you didn't give a darn about. It's I was talking to my friend the other day about I don't know what we were talking about. Something about farmland, China buying up farmland in America. And people in politics being I don't want to talk about politics, but people in politics being China bought our farmland. Yeah. It's one, nobody forced you to sell it, first of all. And second of all, as if you haven't been crapping on the agrarian sector for decades, and now all of a sudden, but it's okay when Bill Gates buys it, but not China. It's okay.
Yeah.
How does that work?
Yeah.
But that has nothing to do with this. Okay, so I want to talk about, since Chris did help us and bring it up, or segue us into it anyway. We were supposed to talk about, I really wanted to talk about the video game soundtracks thing.
Yeah.
So, but the two starting point questions I have about that are, one, were you a fan of video game music before you started creating it? And two, how did you start creating it? How did you get into it? How did this happen? Take those in whatever order you want.
Sure. Yeah. So I've always been, I grew up with video game soundtracks: Final Fantasy, Legend of Zelda, Super Mario. I was a Nintendo guy and a Final Fantasy PlayStation guy. Yeah. So
me too.
I was a, Koji Kondo, all of the classics from the Nintendo, especially Nintendo era, Super Nintendo, Nintendo Entertainment System, N64. That was my Banjo-Kazooie. I grew up with just the Nintendo, which was all very just catchy melodies, I would say, more so than okay, PlayStation had Final Fantasy, which was of course like some of the best music ever. But like so I grew up with it. My brother and I, we would play stuff on the piano. We would try and learn the songs and stuff, Legend of Zelda, all of it. So I grew up with it. But I never thought, never thought I would ever be doing it as a job. It was never a goal, it was never a vision, it was never a dream, ever. I instead, at the same time, loving all of that, was like, I really love like pop rock and alt rock and Coldplay and Muse, and I was very much into like just the Brit rock stuff. Keane, the Killers. Well, Killers.
Oh, me too.
Brit, yeah, but that whole
Killers
genre,
are Vegas.
Yeah, Killers of Vegas, but
they have that influence though, for sure.
Yeah. Like that whole vibe, I was sold on that. And to be honest, I was in high school. I was just covering songs, playing and covering songs, and my music teacher was very supportive and like, you should like write music. And I had, I think like my ex-girlfriend at the time, she was like, you should write your own songs. And I'm like, okay. So I tried it and I loved it, right? I was a late bloomer to writing my own music, about 16, 17 years old.
Is that late for that?
Yeah. You go to any composer's website, and it's like, well, since the age of 2.5, he's been writing music at the piano.
Oh,
it's
no.
Like, yeah. Oh, I know.
Oh, you know, my daughter just turned 4. She's been playing piano for.
She's a late bloomer. Late. She's too late. Too late.
Oh, yeah, I know. Now I'm worried about it. We got to get on the violin. What age is violin? Is she too late for that?
That's like 1. Violin is 1.
What is that? Is that for anybody or just for the Chinese?
I would say just for the Eastern cultures.
Okay, so she might be okay.
She might be okay. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. She's a white person.
But to be fair, they're very regimented. Their whole, I've never met a single.
My best friend is Chinese.
I've never met a single Asian musician who wasn't stellar. Truly, like they're very, because they're very regimented. They're very,
yeah,
they're good. But anyway,
yeah, my best friend is Chinese. He's a nurse though.
Oh, okay. He probably plays violin. He just doesn't tell you. He probably plays violin.
Maybe he might.
Yeah. Anyway, so that was my thing. Was
might play for his patients.
When
as they slip into the sweet embrace of death.
There's like that SpongeBob. What's the smallest violin?
Yeah.
Anyway, so I got into writing music more so like singer-songwriter stuff. Just kind of song I played tonight. Yeah. But at the same time, there was sort of that like instrumental. My mom was a church organist, so like a lot of Bach and classical music I grew up with, and my dad was really into Frank Sinatra and musicals. I did musicals in high school, so there was just this giant mixed bag of like I like my iPod playlist was like Frank Sinatra, Bach, Super Mario, and Coldplay was like just
I love it,
like just crazy nonsense like that, and so. That was sort of I've always had this sort of melting pot of like I love so many things. When I was in school studying music composition, because my music teacher was like, you should just go to school for music. I'm like, I'm dumb and 18, so sure, I'll do it. And it was actually when I got there that first of all, I realized I knew nothing, which is great. Second thing, I like to learn more because it was exciting. And then the third thing was, I really got into writing more classical-ish music. I never really did that before. And a friend of mine was like, hey, I'm making a game with my brother. Do you want to help me write the music? I'm like, that sounds cool. Sure. So I did that. That took off. They got a lot of like, the game was okay. It did, they did their best. Got a lot of press and stuff. And then from that, I started making my own portfolio and I was like, oh, okay, I'm getting a paycheck to do this. Sure. Why not? And so it was pretty much that of just every day waking up and being like, I'm just going to do this thing. And gigs started coming in and it just kind of took a life of its own, which is why a few years ago, maybe 2022, not to get too bleak, but like there was a lot of stuff within the family. Like we lost my father-in-law tragically and
I'm sorry.
That's okay. And my wife had a lot of health issues and there was just a lot of stuff that I was like, I don't know where to put this because all of my music efforts was writing soundtracks for clients. And I was like,
right.
I don't know what to do with this. So that's when, about 2021, I kind of went back to my singer-songwriter origins a little bit because I was like, I just need to put this somewhere creatively. And that was sort of the tipping point for me of realizing, number one, how much I missed that because that was sort of the origin for me was like sitting at a piano and getting drums and stuff. And now I'm kind of living in both of these worlds. And in an ideal world, just to be completely honest, I would love to see that combined somehow, right? So like I would love to on a soundtrack, sing some type of big like orchestra ballad for the credits or something. Like I would love to kind of bridge these
Yeah.
worlds as much as I can. That's
There's a
the dream.
precedent for that.
There will be, it'll happen at some point. I know
My
there'll be a game
favorite,
for it. Yeah.
my favorite game soundtrack maybe of all time does something like that.
Which
It's
is what? What's your favorite soundtrack of all time? I won't judge you,
Castlevania
bro.
Symphony of the Night.
Yeah, good. Very good.
Yeah, maybe my favorite game and definitely my favorite soundtrack.
Nice.
But the closing credits song is like a full blown. It's a lady singing, but
Yeah.
it's a ballad
Yeah.
that just kind of comes out of
it's
nowhere.
Great. It's great.
But it's really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's been the things like that. There's a precedent for it. You could do it.
Yeah. I mean, I would love to see it happen. I'm always been. I mean, since as long as I can remember, which is why I wanted to really learn how to write for the orchestra. I mean, my home base, despite me sitting here in front of a piano, most of what I'm doing is like with orchestras and like being big symphonic stuff, but also throwing a piano and a microphone in front of it. Like if you listen to some of my music, you'll notice that very quickly. It's like,
oh yeah,
there he is, he's singing, but here's an orchestra. It's like that's kind of the thing. That's what I love to do the most. So again, with the soundtracks, it's very orchestral, but it's like I'm just waiting for the game that's like, hey, do you want to sing something on this? I'll be like, yes, I'm down.
Oh, so none of them have wanted vocals yet?
Well, there is. I can't say. I'm not allowed to say anything about it, so I won't.
Oh,
but there is one. There is one that is involving some singing, but I can't say anything more than that. But it's pretty cool.
Breaking news. Stay tuned.
Cool. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm excited.
It'll be announced here exclusively on the show. No, that's true.
Yeah,
but that's exciting.
Thank
so,
you.
what do you have a of the games you have? Maybe you don't want to say this. If you don't want to say it, it's fine.
Okay.
But of the games you've created music for, is there one that you enjoyed playing as a game more than others? And if you don't want to say it, that's fine. I don't want to get you in trouble.
I will. No. There's one that came out. Oh gosh, it probably came out 4 years ago now. I think I wrote the music like 7 or 8, maybe even 9 years ago. The music is old at this point, but the game didn't come out. These development cycles sometimes take ages, so I can finish the music, and then there's still more, like 3 more years for them to finish the game. It's called Charon's Crypt. So like Charon.
This sounds familiar.
In mythology, Charon,
right? The ferryman,
the ferryman, yeah. So basically, you play as Charon, but there's this king. He throws you into the bottom of this crypt, and you have to explore your way back. Take your way back to the top. But it's very Zelda-like. It's very much like if you took all the dungeons in Zelda, all the puzzle solving, all of like the intricate pathways and secrets and things, and just made that into a game from start to finish. That's basically what it is. The game is great. It's phenomenal. Like it was the first game I scored music for that I was like, I actually really dig the game like more than I thought I would. Because sometimes when you're like doing it and you're playtesting it and you're practicing and seeing how the music fits, it like sometimes it's kind of like anything you work on, right? Where you sit with something for so long that you're kind of like, the last thing I want to do is open up this project and play this game and play test this thing, because it becomes a job, right? It's a job at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But this one was like, this is great. This is very good. This is really, really good. I'm actually very grateful and blessed that all of the games I've worked on so far have been like great games. Like there hasn't been a game where I'm like, wow, I would never play this. Like there hasn't been one of those, which I'm really grateful for. Yeah.
It's harder to endorse the thing when you don't want to tell people about your involvement if you're like, oh, this is terrible. What this Charon's Crypt what is this on? Is this on PC?
It's on PC. I think it's on PC and Nintendo Switch.
Oh, okay. Switch, nice.
And I know they're going to be doing some DLC eventually, like downloadable updates and stuff. I don't know when that's going to happen, but I like truly they never even. I don't know when it's going. I know they're going to do it, but I don't know when.
Okay, I'm definitely going to check it out. Probably.
Yeah, it's cool.
As soon as we're done on here. Yeah, because it sounds right up my alley. I love Zelda. Zelda and Castlevania and Metroid are like, I grew up on.
That's right. Yeah.
And they're still my favorite. I'm psyched for Metroid Prime 4.
I know. It looks great.
Although at first I did not like Metroid Prime. I was like, what the hell is this? I had to get into it. Now I'm like, this is awesome. Yeah. Because I'm used to the side scroller.
Yeah. But the Metroid Prime, the original one, Metroid Prime 1 on GameCube, I guess 2001.
I have the remaster on Switch.
That soundtrack, that soundtrack is just the ultimate chef's kiss. The Fendrana drift. There's like this snowy region.
Yeah.
Oh, the music is just so good. The music is so good.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. So Chris says, one can listen to a film soundtrack on Spotify. Where would we listen to a game soundtrack? Spotify.
Also on Spotify, if it's there. So games that are by Nintendo, for whatever reason, they're very strict about their licensing and stuff. But
they're strict about everything.
Yeah, I think Nintendo.
And now I'm mad at them.
Oh, I know. We can't pre-order the Switch too because of the tariffs.
I'm mad at them for the. Well, that's a whole other thing. I'm mad at them for what they're trying to charge for the games.
Oh, I know. Yeah, Mario Kart, forget it. That's stupid. I'm sorry. That's too much for Mario Kart. Yeah. But
I love Mario Kart.
Yeah, the Nintendo has an app that I believe is like a designated Nintendo music app. But everything else you can find on Spotify. Like my own soundtracks that are out are on Spotify. Again, some of them are, the Charon script is an older one, so I listen to it. I'm like, oh, I want to change that. I want to change that. I want to update. Like, that just comes with making music. You're just always growing, you know. But it's actually very retro. Like the theme.
Ooh.
It's very Bach-like, right? So if you can picture like a harpsichord. It's kind of very Baroque. It's very Baroque, and the music is
beautiful.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
That's the main theme. Yeah, I appreciate that. I hope you like it. It's 8-bit. It's retro. It's very like retro NES, Game Boy-esque, but kind of hybrid, modern. It's weird. It's an interesting approach, I guess.
There used to be a couple of bands that did exclusively covers of classic video game songs. One of the bands is called The Advantage, after the giant old Nintendo controller. I can't remember the name of the other one, but have you ever listened to any? You know what I'm talking about?
The only one I'm listening to is there's the new group, the 8-bit Big Band. Have you heard the Big Band 8-bit?
No, that sounds great. No, I haven't heard of that.
You got to check out the 8-bit Big Band. 8-bit Big Band. It's hard to say, but no, I haven't heard of the other ones that you're mentioning.
I will. Yeah, The Advantage. I can't remember. This is from you. They're more like a you know, like for kids that were like into pop punk and that stuff. They were more in that kind of vein. Yeah, but it was just classic game soundtrack songs. Wow. That they would do, but like the real normie stuff, like Super Mario, and I don't think they didn't do anything big like Final Fantasy. Nothing with orchestration. They were, like I said, more like kind of pop punk, kind of thing. But I like these ideas of I like people that are proficient with covers, because a lot of times it causes folks to discover music they maybe wouldn't have otherwise.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Like I can't tell you how many bands I learned about by listening to Weird Al as a kid.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Like everybody.
Yes. And particularly the ones that were all about Star Wars. Those are the ones that we listened to.
Those are later for me, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. But those are my brother and I.
Because I listened to Weird Al for the comedy, right?
Yeah.
And then I'd like the melody in the song, and I'd look into who made the real thing, and then I would find whoever it was.
Yeah.
And I learned about so many bands just through Weird Al was a gateway for
for sure, and
super talented as a musician.
Yes.
And made one of my favorite comedy films of all time.
UHF.
It's
so good.
In fact, I used a gift from UHF to promote this episode tonight.
Oh yeah. Was it Spatula City or no?
No, it was Stanley saying, "Be there."
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's a great film. We just watched that literally last year. It was a year ago, probably like to the day. My wife had the flu or COVID. I somehow bypassed it, but she was like just on the couch for like.
If you believe in that stuff.
Oh, I know. She had the flu. I don't know what. Something with a high fever and respiratory, whatever.
Oh no, I didn't hear that.
We watched a lot of movies. We watched Dune, which I don't remember much about at all.
I'm afraid to watch it because I really like the book. Which is funny because usually I'm a Lord of the Rings guy. Usually Tolkien people hate Dune because Tolkien didn't like Dune. I thought Dune is awesome. I mean, it's not going to sway me. It's not like, I'm a Muslim now because I read Dune. It's just like, I know I enjoy it for, it's a very well written and interesting, philosophically deep piece of science fiction.
Yeah. I mean, the first movie was okay. It just felt like it was one, which I guess for Is it a trilogy? Is it going to be 3 movies, 3 books? Is it 3?
I guess the problem with Dune making it into a film is that nothing important happens in the first Dune book.
Well, that's what that okay. That was my gripe with it. My poor wife, she fell asleep halfway through it because she was just the entire first hour and a half was just a giant exposition of like
Nothing happened.
I was like, all right, when are things gonna blow up? And so I'm a Star Wars guy, right? So I grew up in Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, right? Where as soon as you're in the muck of it, and it's like things are blowing up. There's blasters. There's
Oh no, there's like almost none of that.
None of that. And I was like, Dune. When it
Especially
picked up,
because
it was great. But
they split the first book into 2 movies, right? That's still just the first book, I think.
Oh, really?
Now, I haven't seen them.
I haven't seen the second movie yet.
Well, nothing's happened. Yeah. And the fact that, I mean, this isn't really a spoiler, but the main character of those movies, like he's virtually unimportant in the saga of Dune.
Oh, really?
he's essentially the most important thing he ever does is have a kid. Yeah,
okay.
he's essentially completely unimportant.
Okay.
In the whole.
That's interesting, actually.
Yeah.
That's actually really
there are 5 books written by what's his name, and then there's like a lot that came after that written by other people that explore the Dune universe. I haven't read any of those.
Oh, the extended universe.
But yeah, I enjoy the books. I'm a little afraid of the movie. I don't trust that kid.
It was visually very appealing, but
I heard that. Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. Like there were so many moments I'm like, okay, is anything gonna happen? Kind of like that was what I was asking. Like, is anything gonna blow? I was just waiting for something to blow up. Like, give me an explosion.
So wait, did they show the worms at least? The shy
Halud? Yeah. The worms are
okay.
Yeah, the worms are
so
there.
that's something.
Yeah, but that
just
was like 2 hours. That was like 2 hours into the film.
Yeah, that's about right. Because it's like 400 pages into the book, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing. There's a lot of talking, a lot of philosophy,
That's why I didn't like the second. That's why I didn't like Attack of the Clones, Star Wars, because it was just all politics. It was all. But,
I couldn't stand those prequels.
Phantom Menace, though. I'm sorry. That's a fun movie. I don't care.
I couldn't stand
how bad it is. That's a fun movie. It's a fun one.
Until these new ones came out and made those look good.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah, because the new ones were just.
Chris says, "What is Tony's favorite film soundtrack?"
Oh man, film soundtrack.
That's a hard question.
That is a hard question. This is always a bugger of a question, especially with like game soundtracks.
It's also, it depends on what he means too. I'm assuming he means like orchestral kind of not
I would say
not soundtrack. He means a score, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Is what I'm assuming he means. He could correct us.
Say what you will about the film.
Okay.
Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, has some of the best music. No,
it's not John Williams, right?
It is John Williams. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And even the latest one was John Williams. He did all of them.
Is that right?
But I think
if I was him, I would have bailed out.
Yeah, Revenge of the Sith, I think, was might be my all-time favorite film score, simply because of just what it does. It's just great music, like period.
Yeah.
You can say what you will about the film, but out of the first 3, I guess the third one was pretty good. It was probably the best of the 3, but the music is just so good, so good.
Yeah. I'm surprised John Williams continues to do it. I guess the money's probably too good.
He's still going, man. He's like 92, and he's still writing.
You know who's a total weirdo? Is that Danny Elfman?
He's an eclectic man.
He's a weirdo. I think he's a Satanist.
he's pretty. His haircut gets me.
Is that the one? It's the one that did all the Tim Burton movies, right? Danny Elfman.
Yeah, so it makes sense, right?
Yeah,
it makes sense
because crazy.
The Tim Burton films are
Yeah,
creepy.
I think he sacrifices.
They're like marketed as children's films, but they're like Nightmare Before Christmas. Very great music. I'm not gonna lie, it's great music.
I don't like it that much.
No,
I have favorite Tim Burton movies. I won't revisit any of them probably at this point in my life.
Yeah,
but when I was watching that kind of stuff, I have. There are ones that are favorites. In fact, my former favorite one, I know I would never watch again. But Nightmare Before Christmas. I had a friend that was obsessed with Nightmare Before Christmas.
That was it was cultish back in the mid 2000s.
Yeah,
like
she was
just yeah.
She was the high priest of this cult.
Okay,
because everything in her life was
Nightmare
Before. If you went to her room in her house, it was just covered with. She had every giant doll or blankets.
Wow.
I mean, oh boy, it was everything.
She was probably Sally for Halloween.
I think she was.
Okay, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Interstellar. Oh, I haven't seen that yet. That's the one where they put Matthew McConaughey on the moon, right?
Yeah. Oh, that
I'd
one.
like to
That's
put
actually a
Matthew
good. That's
McConaughey
a
on the
good film.
moon. I'd
Yeah,
like to put him on the moon.
Interstellar is a great. Yeah, Dune scores were amazing. Although to be fair, when I think of the Dune scores, I think of there's like this designated female vocalist who comes in. I'm gonna step away from the mic, but it's kind of like this. There's like this loud vocal thing that happens throughout
Like
the
the
film.
Lion King.
It is kind of like the Lion King. It's actually very cool. It's very effective. Dune soundtrack is very good. Interstellar, I have to rate it a little bit above. Interstellar was genius. The music was genius.
Was the movie any good?
It was. I saw it once. My wife didn't like it. I wasn't sure if I liked it, but after I've thought about it for like 10 years, I think I really did like it.
Okay.
Because it's very.
Is it that old already?
I think so.
It's 10 years old already?
I think it is 10 years old. Yeah.
Steven told me some fact like about a movie in one episode that I was like, I think you were on. We were talking about something. I was like, oh, a couple years ago when that came out. And Steven was like, actually, it came out. And I was like, really? It was crazy, like 15 years ago or something. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Time just goes by.
Yeah.
Do you have a dream game franchise you would love to work on, either because you love the playing the game so much or because the history of their music is so excellent?
Yes.
Oh.
You may not, Chris, please don't judge me for this answer. You may, hopefully I can make it onto the next episode.
Well, Tony, if anyone has blanket immunity to say whatever they want and still make it on the episode, it's you. You're the only person on this ship that has actual talent. We're not going to boot you off.
World of Warcraft.
That's fine. That's okay.
Yeah. Okay. I know.
Now, is it because you love playing it so much, or because the music has been so good in it?
Both. I have played it on and off for more than half my life. I'm not like one of those crazy sweaty types who are like live to play it. Like, I'm just being honest. I play very, very seldom throughout the week. However, there's something about the music and the world building, the story building, something about it just works. And now I know in 2004 when it was like, people were like, oh my gosh, people are like people are literally dying at the front of their computers playing this game. Like, yeah, there are people who played it way too much. But I will say, again, the story, the music, the art direction, all of it, just the world building is probably one of my favorite experiences. And again, there was probably a 10-year stretch I didn't, or maybe not 10 years, probably a 5-year stretch where I didn't touch it. But the music has never failed. There have been times, it's known in the community, where the game itself was like kind of rock bottom. I missed those years, I guess. But the music has never been bad. Listen to any single World of Warcraft soundtrack. There's like the base game, and I think they're on their like 10th expansion now. They're all good. Like there's not a single one that is bad. It's wild. So for me, that would be a dream. Like even if I could do one track for that would be like a dream.
Maybe it'll happen. Maybe because I don't see it shutting down anytime soon.
At this point, I know it's going to be going past I'm dead. I'll be dead.
Yeah, maybe. AI will take over. For anyone watching the show live now or viewing the replay, we're going a little long tonight because I have a great guest and also because no one has to milk a cow.
That's true.
So, a super fan, Chris Lewis says, I thought that was Lisa Gerard of Dead Can Dance, who was one of my favorite singers. Oh, interesting. I wouldn't have known that. So I like that vocal part. I think he's talking about the Dune. What you did.
Oh, yeah. It is pretty cool. It's a cool.
I worked with a guy in the record store who was obsessed with Dead Can Dance. I don't know if you're familiar with this, but the band Dead Can Dance, who are a very particular taste.
Okay.
And Lisa Gerard, although she's done solo, unless I'm mistaking the name, I don't think so. Was the lead vocalist for Dead Can Dance, kind of gothy kind of thing. Yeah.
Okay.
And Chris can correct me if I'm mixing her up with somebody else. I don't think so. Chris also. Oh no, wait, that's her. Yeah, that's her. Okay. I was a record store nerd. Chris also says Age of Empires better than there's no equivalency.
Yeah, Age of Empires is pretty darn good. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. Age of Empires is great. I was very much into Age of Empires 2 and Warcraft 3.
Now again, I don't know if Chris means the music is better or the game. I'm assuming he means the game.
It's true. They're like it's like apples and oranges at this point. But
there's no
Warcraft, like the old Warcraft 2, Warcraft 1, Warcraft 3. That was like Age of Empires. Those two were kind of like
Yeah.
Everyone played them both basically. They were very good. Yeah, Age of Empires was good. Yeah.
Yes, it was the best. Again, I don't know. I'm assuming. I'm assuming he means the gameplay.
I think so. Yeah, Age of Empires 2 is like the best one. But.
Now, what I do want Chris to do, and anyone watching to do, is we love the live comments. We love the interaction, but we really desperately need comments on our replay, on our videos that stay up on YouTube, because that is apparently what peaks the algorithm. And so far, the algorithm hates us. So anyone watching now, or anyone who has watched in the past, or anyone who was viewing this in the replay, I don't care what you comment. You could comment, this show's made of farts. I don't care. But if you comment on any of our videos, it really, really helps. And if you like and subscribe, obviously, I always said I was not going to be one of those people that beat people over the head every episode with a like and subscribe. I might have to start doing it because nobody been liking and subscribing. So please, we really appreciate it if you get anything out of this show. It helps Tony too. It helps him towards his dream of composing for World. Don't you want Tony to compose for World of Warcraft?
You, if I ever compose for World of Warcraft, and that happens, Chris, you're gonna be the first one who hears the music, because it's gonna be all because of Good Night Everybody that I somehow.
Well, I only ask for
my way
10% of whatever they pay you. That's it. This is reasonable.
Easy peasy. Although, to be fair, they'll probably buy it out like most big companies do. They're like, we own everything.
Well, I need a camera. Well, I have to talk to you about that.
So he meant, the comment asked about Chris is his name in the comments.
Oh, you don't know Chris? Okay, I'm sorry. I don't know why I thought you had done an episode where Chris was on. So this is Chris Lewis of Baratus Catholic Illustration. He's a phenomenal artist.
Yeah.
And friend of the show. And very, very good guy. Yeah, that is him. That's Chris. Yeah.
Okay. So he asked about Spotify. So what you'll find is, I don't know, there's like Assassin's Creed, I don't know, whatever. Let's say, I think the latest one is called Assassin's Creed Shadows, and Japan doesn't like it very much, from what I understand.
There's a big deal about that's a big deal.
But anyway, so if you go to that soundtrack on Spotify, what you'll see is the composer is Ubisoft. Like, the artist who wrote the music is.
They're notoriously horrible company. Yeah.
But what I'm saying is you'll find that a lot of these bigger these bigger companies like Microsoft, Bethesda, all these things who buy out these composers, you'll find on their Spotify, like, the artist name is not the composer, it's the company, which is strange to me. It's like,
it is strange.
That's not how it works.
Now, is that true of the Japanese companies too? Because I would say the one good thing, it
depends on the project. So like, my ideal scenario, and what I try to negotiate no matter what I do, is to make sure that I retain the rights. And sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Just depends on what they're looking for. But the ones that I retain the rights for, I can then put on my own Spotify. I can do whatever I want. I can make arrangements. I can sell the sheet music. I can do all that stuff. But there are other games that I'm a part of and have been a part of where they know we want to own everything. So, like, we own it. In which case I can't do anything with it. I can't upload it anywhere. So just depends.
Now, does that ever give you pause before signing a contract to do?
Yes.
Such a thing? It does, right?
Every time it gives me pause. But I have to always.
It's like giving away a baby.
Yeah. Oh, it's terrible. But it's at the same time, it is like, what's the result from this, right? Like, will there be a crazy amount of publicity? Will it sort of be a nice pocket in the portfolio to say, hey, I worked on this thing? So there is that component as well.
Yeah.
I think every composer in the world tries to keep the rights, but some cases you're just not going to, like, and that's just the reality.
I remember there was a big deal about Michael Jackson buying the Beatles catalog, and I think Paul McCartney tells the story where he was at some party or something talking to Michael Jackson. And Michael was like, Paul, you have any advice for me going forward? That could be Mike Tyson too, with the same voice. And Paul's like, yeah, Michael, buy up music catalogs, ooby dooby. It's the best bit of advice I can give you. And then Michael Jackson said, I'm going to buy yours, Peter. Not Peter. What's his name? Paul. I'm going to buy yours, Paul. And they just laughed. And then McCartney said this on some talk show. Next thing he knew, like a year later, Michael Jackson had bought up the whole Beatles catalog from Apple Records when it went defunct. And that's where they stopped talking. And then he hated his guts for the rest of his life because he wouldn't sell it back to him. Yeah.
Oh man,
You didn't know that. That's a wild story, right?
that's great. I'm gonna look that one up. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I probably should be closing out here soon.
Okay.
I'm sorry to say.
Do you? We don't have time to do the song then, or do we?
We can. We can. Yeah, we can do
It's
that.
up to you. Don't feel free to say no.
Yeah,
I know we've gone long.
let's hold hands and sing. Let's. I'm playing Kumbaya tonight.
Yeah.
No, I can do a song. Yeah.
Okay. Oh wait, there's one more comment. You did great with the Farley impressions, but your Jackson sounds like Rumpelstiltskin. You've heard Rumpelstiltskin? I thought it was a little bit Mike Tyson. Yeah, Mike. Yeah, Kristen, be careful what you say about me. Come over and punch you in your nose.
Didn't he get beat up by Logan Paul?
I mean, I'm not gonna say that. But yeah, it was.
I don't
Jake.
know. All I know is that they fought. That's all I know.
It was Jake. But look, nobody made him do it. Nobody made him do it at 60 years old against a 21-year-old physically prime of his life, roided out, allegedly, Jake Paul. Okay. So, who's gonna? And why everybody loves Mike Tyson? Now, he was like the most villainized person on earth, and now he's a little old and a little doting, right? And he smokes weed all day. And now he's Uncle Mike. Everybody loves him.
Well, it's like Mozart. It's like Mozart, man. Mozart was not.
It's just like Mozart.
Mozart was not a pure soul by any means. He wasn't.
No, I know. He wrote those dirty 40 letters.
Yeah.
Was that Mozart?
Probably did a lot of things with a lot of people. But yeah, obviously his music's good.
He was like the Freddie Mercury of classical music.
I know. That's why it's always when people are like, "Oh, we got to separate the artist from the art," and you can't. But you can't separate the artist from the art. But it's like, but you're listening to Mozart, and he was a not nice word. But so it's like, it's tricky. It's a weird thing.
Plus, you don't know what to believe. I don't know what to believe.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's like, there was that like 400 years ago anyway. So yeah, who knows?
Yeah,
who knows? Okay, yeah, I'll sing a little song.
Okay,
do a little Coldplay. This is one of the big inspirations for me to even get into music was this song. So I'm excited to sing it.
All right, this will be great. So let me remember how to do. How do I do this? There's a way to make you big.
Make me big.
Oh, eat the mushroom from Alice in Wonderland. There we go. All right, take it away, Tony.
I'll sing "Yellow" by Coldplay in the voice of Super Mario. How about that?
Well, that would be something. Boy, oh boy.
I would need a little beverage to make that one happen. But
yeah, good lordy. Maybe we'll schedule that for the future.
Oh man. All right, here we go. Look at the stars, look how they shine for you, and everything you do. And they were all yellow. I came along, I wrote a song for you, and everything you do. It was all yellow. So then I took my turn. Oh, what a thing to have done. And it was all yellow. And your skin, oh yeah, your skin and bones turn into something beautiful. And you know I love you so. You know I love you so. I swam across, I jumped across for you. Oh, what a thing to do. And it was all yellow. I drew a line, I drew a line for you. Oh, what a thing to do, my love. And you were all yellow, yeah, yeah, yeah. Your skin, oh yeah, your skin and bones turn into something beautiful. And you know, for you I bleed myself dry. For you I bleed myself dry. It's true. Look how they shine for you. Look how they shine for you. Look how they shine for. Look how they shine for you. Look how they shine for you. Look how they shine. Look at the stars. Look how they shine for you. And everything that you do.
Hey,
Hey, thank you.
excellent, Tony. So good. Well, I can't think of a better way to end the show tonight than with that beautiful cover by Tony Manfredonia, my very talented guest. Thank you so much, Tony.
Hey, man, thank you so much for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. We'll see you next week, or we won't see you next week.
Yeah, we'll see you next week. Why not?
Great.
Let's do it. Let's go.
Well, I will put links to Tony's website. Please check out all of his music. He does fantastic work, really beautiful stuff, including a rock opera even.
That's
And
true.
it's all worth a listen. He also has we'll link your YouTube also, right? You got videos.
I do.
on
I got
there.
a YouTube music videos, all sorts of stuff. Yeah.
Excellent stuff. I will even link the Steam page for Charon's Crypt, which I found.
Oh my goodness! There we go.
Yeah,
The
look at that.
developers will be happy.
Yeah, I'm going to check that out as soon as we get off of here, actually.
Appreciate that.
All right. Well, it's time to say good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.